Here's a dirty little secret no one in personal finance wants to admit. The advice designed to help people who are struggling? It literally cannot reach the brain that needs it. Not because the advice is wrong. Because the brain that's supposed to receive it is already broken by the very problem it's trying to solve. I know that sounds wild. Stay with me. In 2013, two researchers at Harvard and Princeton ran a series of experiments that should have flipped the entire financial industry upside down. They didn't, because honestly it would have been bad for business. But the findings? Completely undeniable. Here's one experiment. They went to India and found sugarcane farmers, people whose entire income arrives once a year at harvest. They tested these farmers' cognitive performance before harvest, when the money was gone, and after harvest when they'd just been paid. Same farmers. Same education. Same intelligence. But their scores on tests measuring attention, reasoning, and impulse control were significantly higher after they got paid. Not because they got smarter. Because they had cash. Now let's bring that closer to home. Imagine it's the 20th of the month. Rent's due in 10 days. Your checking account has $47 in it. Your phone buzzes, it's your bank, low balance alert. In that moment, can you sit down and calmly compare the expense ratios of a Roth IRA versus a traditional 401k? No, you cannot. And that's not a character flaw. That's your brain redirecting every available resource toward one question. How do I survive the next 10 days? Here's what's happening inside your skull. Your working memory, the part of your brain doing active thinking right now, can only hold about 4 pieces of information at once. That's it. 4. When you're financially stressed, a large chunk of those 4 slots are permanently occupied by what researchers call financial intrusive thoughts. Did I pay the light bill? What if the car needs repairs? What's the minimum on the credit card? These thoughts don't wait for permission. They just run. All day. In the background. That leaves you with maybe 2 slots, sometimes 1, for everything else. Planning. Decision-making. Information processing. That's not laziness. That's math. But it gets worse. Let's talk about the part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO of your brain, the part responsible for long-term thinking, delayed gratification, and saying no to things that feel good right now but hurt you later. Here's the problem. Under chronic financial stress, meaning it's not a one-time crisis, it's just Tuesday, your body keeps producing a stress hormone called cortisol. And chronically elevated cortisol doesn't just feel bad. It physically suppresses your prefrontal cortex. Meanwhile, the threat detection part of your brain, the amygdala, goes into overdrive. It starts making decisions. And it doesn't care about your retirement account. It cares about right now. This is why people in financial stress sometimes make purchases that look completely irrational from the outside. The $200 TV on a credit card when rent is late. The $70 birthday dinner when you've got 2 bills overdue. The $5 lottery scratch-off every Friday. From the outside, why would you do that? From the inside, your amygdala just needed relief from the cortisol even for 5 minutes. That purchase wasn't dumb. It was a survival response by a brain under siege. The behavior made perfect sense given the brain state, it just didn't make sense given the bank statement. Now let me give you the 3 specific ways financial stress messes with your decision-making, because this is where it gets practical. Number 1, future discounting. Everyone naturally values money today more than money later. But under financial stress, that effect gets amplified by 30 to 40%. The future feels fake. So when someone tells you, invest $200 a month and retire with $500,000, your stressed brain literally cannot feel the weight of that $500,000. It just sees $200 leaving today. Number 2, risk miscalibration. Scarcity scrambles your sense of what's risky. Safe bets, like opening a savings account or putting $50 in a low-cost index fund, feel terrifying. Dangerous bets, like a payday loan at 400% APR, or putting an electric bill on a credit card, feel safe because they solve the immediate problem. That's not stupidity. That's a miscalibrated risk system under stress. Number 3, bandwidth collapse. When stress is eating your mental RAM, new financial information doesn't load properly. You hear Roth IRA, and your brain just stalls. Not because you can't understand it, but because there's no room. The hard drive is full. This is why financial literacy classes often fail the people who need them most. So what do you actually do about this? Because knowing your brain is compromised doesn't pay rent. Let's talk strategy. Strategy 1, automate everything you possibly can. Every financial decision you automate is one less thing your working memory has to hold. Set up autopay for your bills. Set up an automatic transfer, even $10, to a separate savings account on payday. Automatic 401k contribution at work, even 1%. Research shows that when low-income households are helped to set up automatic savings, not given money just helped to automate, their savings rates jump significantly. Because removing the decision removes the cognitive friction. Your stressed brain doesn't have to choose every month. The choice is already made. Strategy 2, anchor to $1,000. Stop trying to think about $50,000. Not yet. A 2015 study by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that households with just $1,000 in liquid savings were dramatically less likely to miss bill payments, take payday loans, or fall into financial crisis from normal unexpected expenses, like a car repair or a medical copay. $1,000 does not solve poverty. But it quiets the loudest intrusive thought, what if something goes wrong? When that thought goes quiet, you get cognitive bandwidth back. And with that bandwidth, you can think about the next step. Strategy 3. Design your environment instead of relying on willpower. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that exercises willpower, is already working overtime under financial stress. Telling a broke person to just be more disciplined is like telling someone with a sprained ankle to just run faster. The mechanism is damaged. So instead of discipline, use design. Keep your savings at a completely different bank, not your checking bank somewhere inconvenient. Delete the Amazon app from your phone. Set a rule. Any non-essential purchase over $50 gets a 24-hour wait before you buy. Use cash for groceries and discretionary stuff instead of a card. Every one of these requires zero willpower in the moment, just one moment of setup that protects you from 100 future moments of temptation. Last strategy. This one sounds soft, but the research is rock solid. The story you tell yourself about why you're struggling changes what you do next. If you believe you're broke because you're bad with money, that it's a personality trait, something you just are, your brain stops trying. Why would it? If it's fixed, nothing helps. But if you believe you're struggling because of specific, identifiable circumstances, a medical crisis, a layoff, a system that never taught you any of this, your brain treats it as a learnable problem. And learnable problems have solutions. This is not about blame. It's about causation modeling. People who say, I haven't learned this yet, show dramatically higher rates of financial behavior change than people who say, I'm just bad with money. Your brain follows what it believes is possible. Here's the thing I want you to carry out of this video. Your brain is not failing you. It is doing exactly what millions of years of evolution designed it to do under conditions of scarcity: protect you from immediate threats, conserve resources, survive today. The problem is that these ancient instincts are completely miscalibrated for navigating a modern financial system that was not built with your survival in mind. You cannot think your way out of a cognitive trap with a cognitively impaired brain. You need to reduce the load first, through automation, through achievable targets, through environmental design, until your prefrontal cortex has enough room to actually plan for the future. And if you've been beating yourself up for not managing money better during hard times, stop. That difficulty was not a character flaw. It was a brain doing its absolute best under conditions it was never designed to handle. Build the systems, not the discipline. The systems. If this changed how you see the problem, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe, new video every week.